Welcome back. I'm Andrew, your crypto guy on the internet, and I'm pretty sure there are aliens on the moon, but today we're going to talk about something way bigger and way better. We finally got some big boy validation when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, some of you probably know some Bitcoin doubters, and that's fair. It's a new technology. It's kind of hard to explain. Is this real? Is this funny money? It's a scam. It's a dot-com bubble. It's going to zero. Sure. Those are the same people that wait for the big strong guy to jump into the lake first to make sure there aren't any alligators. And then the big guys, he seems to be fine. Okay, I'll go in the lake now and get whatever leftover fun there still is. Well, our big boy has jumped in the lake, and that is BlackRock. Do you know who BlackRock is? For those of you who don't, BlackRock manages over $8 trillion in assets. They are the biggest asset management company on earth, as far as I know. To give you an idea of how much money $8 trillion is, now it's $8 trillion in the worst market conditions we've had in my lifetime. So this is a really bad year for them. They're embarrassed that it's only $8 trillion. It should be like 11 or 12, but we'll give them a pass. It's a tough year. I get it. Anyway, by comparison, the United States brings in $3 trillion per year. Apple, the biggest company there is, right? We all have their shit. They're worth $2.5 trillion. BlackRock is $8 trillion. And so what BlackRock has been doing lately is, over the pandemic, the past couple years, they went out and bought up all of the starter homes, all of the single-family homes, and then turned them into investment rental properties. And I don't know if you've noticed, but it's priced most of us out of the market. I was supposed to buy a house 2 years ago, and I couldn't because the prices just exploded out of nowhere. Why? These guys own all the houses now. And so they figure, well, we already own all the houses. We should own the money too. Where's that going to be late? Oh, Bitcoin? Now, a year ago, when Bitcoin was at 60,000 apiece, BlackRock was interviewed. And they're like, yeah, Bitcoin seems fun, but I wouldn't advise any of our investors to buy Bitcoin. It's kind of a pump and dump. Who knows, really? They weren't going to buy it at the peak. They're not stupid. They manage $8 trillion. So they're going to wait until the price comes down, right? When it's cheap, when there's maximum fear at the bottom of the market. It's at $20,000. They're going, okay, now we're in. And so BlackRock worked a deal with Coinbase. Coinbase has a special club that you and I are not allowed in. It's called Coinbase Prime for institutional investors only, okay? And what BlackRock has is they have their own investment platform for their own institutional investors called Aladdin. This thing. Now, I'm not wealthy enough to be allowed in, but it's called Aladdin. And so what BlackRock has done is they're signing a deal with Coinbase Prime and Aladdin, where they're both linked together, and now BlackRock's customers can buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies through Aladdin that's bridged to Coinbase Prime, okay? So all the big boys at BlackRock get to play in the Bitcoin world now. And they're doing it quietly. Now, this is on CNET, no one's looking there. It was on CNBC because it needs to be. But even the headline kind of downplays it. They go, I got a boost from a bunch of meme traders. But then BlackRock right after that, anyone who knows what BlackRock is goes, this is not a joke. This is the biggest big boy on earth, and they're jumping in both feet into Bitcoin. This is serious validation for us. So what happened to Coinbase's stock? Now, they've been struggling lately. Okay, it's a tough market. Gary Gensler's going after everybody, including Coinbase. Look at how much their stock has fallen from 350 down to 50. People don't know what's going on. They're scared. But now that BlackRock's on board with Coinbase, they picked Coinbase, nobody else. We want Coinbase because they're in the United States. They know what they're doing. Stock jumped 80%, actually more than that. It's come down. So where it is now is an 80% jump. Let's measure this actually. From a week ago, it went up to about here, 84%, and then people sold the rally. Now it's down to what, $89, up 67% in less than a week. Most of it was the past 2 days. So this BlackRock story come out straight up. All right, that's what happened. Now, if you have Coinbase stock, good for you. Hopefully you bought at the bottom. I didn't own any Coinbase stock, but I do own some Bitcoin. I've been DCAing this whole goddamn time. So when everybody's afraid, that's when BlackRock goes, everybody's afraid. It's cheap. We told them last year it was no big deal. I wouldn't invest in Bitcoin. Come on. Because it was 60 grand. If they went, yeah, we'll buy some, and then it goes to 200, that's way out of their price range. They're not going to invest in that at that point. That's stupid. You don't buy at the top. Simple rules follow everybody. Even the guys worth $8 trillion, they still know to buy at the bottom when everyone's afraid, all right, and ride it all the way up to the top. So Coinbase is doing well. Another story, hey, if you own Tesla stock, another good day for you. They've been coming up lately, and they're doing a 3-to-1 split. So if you have one share of Tesla, it becomes 3 smaller shares. Now, the exact date of when that's going to happen, they haven't announced yet, but it was just approved, so it will happen. Now, the Amazon split, that was a 20-to-1 split. It split at $108. So if you had one share, it was for like $2,000 or something. Before the split, it splits into $108 shares. Those are now worth $140 in the worst market ever. So we already got a juicy return on that. I'm going to be holding on to my Amazon. Tesla, their last split was a 5-to-1 split. I made great money on that. Doubled, almost tripled it. So this is another opportunity to make some easy money on a stock you already want, which is Tesla. And for those of you who can't swing $900, maybe $300 is more palatable for you. This is a good moment. Now, does that mean Bitcoin's going to explode now that the big boys are in? No. We're still in a really, really ugly macro story, okay? So we're bouncing around, we're, higher highs, higher lows. That's nice, but it's not crazy good because we still have the weight of the war in Russia, insane inflation, the Biden administration's continuously making it worse, okay? And they just signed, Kirsten Sinema just signed another giant spending bill. They're not making it any better for us. The Fed has to keep raising their rates. You know the story. It's not looking good for a while. And that's why BlackRock is buying now, because they can afford to wait years, all right? Now, there's a few things that are lining up for the end of the Biden presidency. Now, the next bull cycle, usually the way the market works, if this is actually a recession, a prolonged dip in the market, even a depression, which is like a recession for 2 years or longer, worst case scenario, it lasts to the end of this presidency. And then 2025 is when we see a bit of a resurgence. Now, Bitcoin's halving, the next one, is May 2024. And every historic rally, the start of the next exponential boom, was after a halving event. So it's not May 13th, we're all billionaires, but it starts to go up, and it goes up real strong. And that lines up with 2025, which is our next presidential run, which is probably going to be Republicans at this rate. So Republicans are pro-crypto. They're going to lower taxes, or at least deregulate some shit so we can take a breath of fresh air, right around the time that this lines up. Now, assuming that a solar flare or a solar storm doesn't kill us all in 2025, which there's a 4% chance of that. I read a lot. So assuming the sun doesn't kill us, we stand to make a lot of money. As long as we can hang on and DCA through these ugly times, as you can see, the big boys are jumping in. $8-9 trillion. They're like, yeah, we'll buy some Bitcoin. Tell everybody in our umbrella that it's time to buy Bitcoin. I love that. Now I'm just some shitter on the internet, but they're thinking the same way I am. The difference is I got in 4.5 years before they did. Sure, they stole my dream of owning a house from me, but they can't take my Bitcoin. They can only make me rich with it. So they're going to buy a big pile of it over the next few years, and my little pile is suddenly worth a lot more, and I'll never give it up. So this is a good day for us, guys. I'm really happy about it. Have fun out there.